My name is Representative F from Elliott, and you've just been placed on alert. Welcome to the Elliott Alert. I have today my guest, Mr. Larry Lewis, who is the area director for the Department of Human Resources here in Jefferson County. Welcome for coming on, Mr. Lewis. How are you?
I'm doing great, and thank you for inviting me.
All right,
Glad to be here.
Good. Mr. Lewis is going to talk to us today about DHS and some foster care, the way foster care works and stuff like that. So I have my first question, Mr. Lewis, is why are foster care parents important?
Well, they're very important to us here because they're taking care of the children that we bring into care. Once that child comes into care, he must or she must have a place to reside. Mm-hmm. And these parents here are very important because they're opening their home up to let a kid come in that are not a biological relative of theirs. They're just a young man, young lady or young girl that needs a place to stay and a lot of love, and they're opening their homes up for us to let them in.
So what you're saying is that these kids don't really have a place to stay, and the foster parents are the ones who are opening their house, their private lives up to these children to help them get past some hard times. Is that correct?
And that is absolutely correct. That's what they're doing.
Okay, well, good deal. So we need more foster parents out there. Is there a shortage of foster homes in Jefferson County?
There's a tremendous shortage of foster homes here in Jefferson County. Right now in Jefferson County, we're running over 150 children that are in care. Now, what is occurring is that we're having to move most of these children out of the area. Mm-hmm. And so what does that mean? That means all that money that these children are entitled to, and you're a representative legislature, you know that you all have designated a certain amount of money per child for public school. Mm-hmm. Well, if that's a Jefferson County child, and we move him to Drew County in the Monticello, Drew County is going to get that money. Oh, okay. So it's a very good thing for all of us to take a good look at keeping our children home. And then we want them to have the Jefferson County values that we have here in our area.
That's correct. So how do we help to correct this thing? Because you're right, generally picking a kid up in Jefferson County and removing them from their safe haven and taking them to a different county, that's got to have some kind of effect on them. So we most definitely want to be able to keep the kids, to have some kind of a regimen of stability with those children if something like that happens, so everything won't be taken from them.
That is the most important thing. What we do is if we take a child into care, the number one thing we want to do is keep that child in his surroundings. We want to keep them in Jefferson County, keep them in the same school district if possible, keep them where they can visit with their mom or their aunt or whoever so that they will not be traumatized. It's already a traumatic experience being removed from the home, but if we can keep them in that surrounding, they do better. And then also it helps us get the family back together because we can arrange visits much more easily on a regular basis with the mother and the child or the dad and the child, and work by getting that family back together because they're both still located in Jefferson County.
A lot of times people say, DHS took my kids, they took my kids and stuff like that. But you guys aren't in the business of just taking kids just to take kids. I know you got a lot more other things that you got to do.
That is one of the things that everybody hear about DHS, that we just go out and pick up children. And, that's not true. We all know that. But that mother and that father and that grandmother has been traumatized because they've just lost a child that they really love. And they have been doing everything they can to keep that child and do well for that child, doing the best they can do in a lot of situations, but something went wrong. And because of the laws and of the state and the federal government, you and I both know that sometimes we have to step in for the safety of the child. And then that gives the parent a chance to get themselves back together and be able to get the child back and move forward so they can have more stability and a great opportunity to excel.
And in reference to that too, if something does have to happen, you guys aren't in the business of just taking children and saying, okay, now this child is just the property of the state, and we want this child, and we want to raise this kid. So that's again, that's another myth.
That is another myth. If when we take a child, when we remove a child, our main goal, if possible, is for reunification with the family. In other words, we want to put the child back with the parent as quickly as we possibly can. You know, and we do not want to keep that child out of that home no longer than possible. Once the child is removed, there's going to be things that are going to have to take place, and the parent will know this. And what we call a case plan and a staffing will take place. And they're going to know in great detail what they must do in order for us to move the child back to the home. So therefore, everybody knows this. And we work very aggressively to get that child back home.
So you guys just don't actually take the child and say, okay, we're not going to communicate with the parent. We're not going to communicate with the family. They're not going to have visitations. This is our child, and you can't see them anymore.
No, sir. We will not do that. We will not do that to any parent.
Okay. Well, again, that's good to know. We're myth busting here at the Elliott Alert. I have my next question is, why are children placed in foster care?
Many of the reasons children are placed in foster care because of drug use by the parent, a lot of neglect, children not going to school, sexual abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse, children being abandoned, and sometimes the parent just turn the kid back in, say, I just can't do anything with him, and they just say, I don't want him back or her back in my home anymore.
Wow. And when they do this, I mean, how they just show up at your office and say, I don't want my child anymore?
Most of the time when a kid is, let's just say we end up with a kid. A lot of times when we get a kid whose the parent's going to say she don't want him back anymore, he don't want him back, that's going to come through the court process. They most of the time is going to get a hearing at the court through a FINS case, family in need of service case. And at that point, a lot of times they're going to tell the judge that they do not want the child back in their home.
You mean, well, I tell you what, that's a good point. Let's keep it right there. I have to take a break, but we'll be right back to talk about that issue.
Along with weight loss, it's one of the many ways to fight osteoarthritis pain. For more information on managing pain, go to fightarthritispain.org.
Detalles sencillos tienen el mayor impacto. Por eso toma el tiempo y hoy sea un buen papá.
Welcome back to the Elliott Alert. My guest today, again, is Mr. Larry Lewis from the Department of Human Resources. He's the area director here in Jefferson County for DCFS.
Correct.
Okay. Now, Mr. Lewis, we were just talking about some ways kids come into foster care, and you were explaining how they come through the court system and some other ways that they come. Can you kind of elaborate on that further?
What it is, we get a call in the middle of the evening by the police officers, and they can say, well, we're doing a drug raid over here, and we have 4 kids, and the parents going to jail. Well, at that point, we'll have to go out and pick up those children.
Okay.
Or we could say, we could be called from the court, and the judge could say, I have a mother down here that says she doesn't want this kid back in the home. At that point, we would have to go to the court and pick up those children there.
Okay.
Again, in each one of these situations, we would have to pick them up, bring them into care, and then we would immediately begin to work. Well, the ones who said that they don't want them back home, there's not going to be a whole lot we can do.
So, I mean,
We're going to have to try to just find another place for that child, another relative. Well, hopefully we can locate another relative that might be interested in picking up that, coming down and getting that child.
so what you're saying is, if somebody just says in court, I don't want my child anymore, then you guys, that child will be custody of the state, and you guys actually have to find a place for that person to stay, be it relative, friend, neighbor, whomever,
Right.
and
We're
then you guys actually have to, I guess, make that or see if the house is qualified. And well, these are other questions, but can that parent who said that they don't want that child get that child back again?
There's always room to get the child back. They can always come back to the court if something has changed and get him back. But before we go out and take that child, and most of the time with the court is going to go try to work it out and put
Right.
services in that home and everything else before we just remove a child.
Exactly.
A number of things. You just might be mad at him today because he didn't do something. We can try to put things in the home, services in there first before we remove him. And then if all else fail and it just doesn't work, then yeah, that's the other option.
Right. And when you say put services in, let's say the mom is having a hard time providing, you guys can help with, maybe food stamps. If the mom is having or dad is having problems with, a job or something like that, you guys can try and help assist so that person won't feel as though that they have to, that they're so stressed out that they can't take care of the children.
Yes, I'll give you a good example. Let's say a mother, this one here happened. Let's say a mother's working, and she has to be at work maybe at 7 o'clock or 6:30 or something. And the kid is missing school. He's missing the first period because he oversleep. Kid's gonna go back to bed when mom leave the house.
Exactly.
Well, what we can look at maybe in that situation, maybe the mother needs to drop the kid off if he's a young child, and put the child into a morning daycare, and we can help assist in that area there.
Okay.
If that will keep her working, we'd rather do that than to see her stop working or
Right.
see the kid keep getting into trouble. So we would work to see if she can get a neighbor first of all. If she can't get a neighbor, then we would look at maybe let's see if we can't get you to drop him off at a daycare every morning. And then when he come home from school, you'll be back home from school, or vice versa. If she leave early enough to get him to school, but she have to get off work a little late, then we might want to provide after school daycare,
Okay.
so that she can continue to work.
So now, DHS or DCFS is actually there to assist and help that client or that parent to achieve the goals that they need to bring more stability in their household.
Into their homes. That is correct.
Okay. And, because a lot of times we hear DHS just came in, they want to take my kids, they want to do all this and they want to do all that. So, but in actuality, what you're saying is, you guys don't go out knocking on doors looking for children.
We do not do that. Please, we do not go out and look for. I did not wake up this morning and say I'm going to go pick up these 10 kids.
Right. Exactly. But what you guys do, and what y'all look forward to is actually helping coming in that house, trying to provide some stability where the family structure will not be disrupted, and you guys can all work together so that that child and that family can be more of a whole family. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Well, good deal. Now, I tell you, what is the goals of DCFS concerning foster kids?
What our goal with our foster children is to take these children in and get these children prepared to move forward. For the ones who cannot, who we know that they're not going to be going back home, we're going to work then aggressively get those children ready for life without a parent. For the other children where we are working with the parent and the mother or father have expressed an interest to get their children back, our main goal is reunification.
Okay.
And doing everything we can to get that family back together. This past year we had we had 6 kids to graduate. Now, of these 6, these children will not be going back home,
Right.
some of them. And when we have those kids, we have 6 of those children that will be attending college this year.
Wow.
So therefore, they're getting ready now for life after foster care.
Wow.
They'll be having education. In fact, we have one that has joined the Army ROTC and one that has joined the National Guard. And then they're going to be in ROTC in college. So these young men and women, they know what their situations is, and they're doing things to turn their lives around.
So those children who have actually been dealt a bad hand and have had to adjust their lives in some way have actually used that situation to motivate themselves to do better. And I do know personally that there's some success stories in reference to foster care where children most definitely go to college and they move forward in their lives and become even better people and better parents beside the hand that they've been dealt. And I know in Jefferson County you guys really try to work towards helping our kids, and I want to thank you for that as well. Also tell me now, if a child is in the midst of that, does DHS provide the necessary resources to help that child achieve? You just don't put them into foster care and just drop them off, do you?
No, we don't. For a child in foster care, we provide every service needed for their child to succeed. If a child go into foster care and he comes into my home, I'm the foster parent, we're going to provide every service that foster parent need for their child. We're going to provide clothing. We're going to make sure they got medical coverage. Okay. We're going to take care of everything. So that all that foster parent have to do is just focus on giving that child love. That's all they have to focus on. They don't have to worry about is the money going to be here for the child. They don't have to worry about is the child going to have medical coverage. We take care of all of that.
So the children have medical coverage. They have resources and all that other good stuff. Right. And I'm glad you said that. We'll talk a little bit about that. We're going to go on break and we'll be right back.
As we go through life, we will all come to understand that everything starts with a single step.
So envision what 1,000,000 steps in the right direction could do.
This is what the Circle of Pride initiative is all about. UAPB Golden Lions taking steps in the right direction for our beloved university.
This time, we're taking the right steps into going green. To find out what you can do to go green, go to www.uapb.edu and click on Black and Gold Goes Green.
It's our university.
It's our environment.
Our planet.
And our responsibility.
So what steps will you take?
Welcome back to the Elliott Alert. I have here today again my guest, my good friend, Mr. Larry Lewis, who is the area director of DCFS, that's Department of Human Resources Foster Care Division, and he is talking to us today about foster care. Mr. Lewis, I just want to know, how does a person become a foster parent?
Well, the way you become a foster parent is what we have a website, and we also have what we call a foster parent inquiry meeting. It's the third Thursday of every month, and we will advertise that on the cable station and in the newspaper, alerting everybody about that meeting. It's the third Thursday, and in my office at 1222 West 6th Street. And you can call us at 870-534-4200, extension 105 or 101. And we will go over everything you need to get to be a foster parent. Number one, we're going to do a background check on you. We're going to check your driver's license out, make sure you can drive. And then you fill out all the paperwork. If you have anybody in your home, like you and your husband or 18-year-old son or daughter, or any teenagers in the house, everybody have to fill out the checks.
Okay.
Then from there, you will attend the meeting, and you will decide at that point, after you hear what we have to say, if that's what you want to do.
Wow.
Now, the contact person there is Miss Yolanda Holmes. Miss Holmes is our resource worker.
Okay.
And she's the one who is over this program. You can reach her, Miss Yolanda Holmes, at 870-692-4033. Again, her office number is 870-534-4200, extension 105. And therefore, she will get you all the information you need so that you can become a foster parent.
Okay. And just for our viewers, can you tell me what is the role of a foster parent in that?
The role of a foster parent is a person who's going to take a child in, give them love, give them care, and work with us to get this child back to their family. It's not going to be a permanent relationship in this home in most of the cases, so we ask them to just work with us, helping them give the child the kind of attention and everything that they need and meet their needs so they can go back home. And when we place a child, now we try to place a child according to their needs.
Right.
We don't just pick him up and put him in any home.
Right.
We try to we figure out, okay, what happened here? And then we try to find out what would be the best home for this child. So we try to put them in a good setting.
So it's more of an evaluation. So if something was happening in reference to this child and they were scared of dogs, you wouldn't place them at my house where I have a big Rottweiler, right?
That's right. And then also, now I want people to understand, when you become a foster parent, you will tell us what children you want in your home, the age of the child,
Wow.
whether in school, all of these things. You pick and tell us what you want in your home. That's your home, you're helping us out, and you will tell us who you want there.
So actually, the foster parent has some power in reference to it, to who comes into their house. Once you become a foster parent, you just don't say, okay, you're going to take this kid and we want this kid here. The foster parent actually has some say-so in reference to whom is going into their house with this program.
That is correct. If we call a foster parent and ask them to take this child this evening, they can say no. They can say, Mr. Lewis, I told you all before, I only want kids from 6 to 10. This kid is 11. I don't want this kid, or this kid is 5. I don't want to take that kid. So no, and that's the end of it.
Is there an amount of foster children that a person can take? Like, let's say if a parent has already 2 kids and they want to share their house with 4 more kids, can 6 kids cope?
The maximum number that we will put into a home is going to be 5.
Okay.
Now, we will go over that limit if it is a sibling group. We don't. We want to keep the brothers and sisters together.
Okay.
So we will ask for a waiver. Say if we got 6 kids, you're the foster parent, you got 1 child in your home. We will ask for a waiver so we can put all 6 of those children in that home if you can take care of those children. We feel you have the space and everything, then we'll try to put all of them together, because we do work very hard at keeping the sibling groups together.
Now, I'm glad you said that, because now if I'm going to allow 6 kids to come in my house and I'm just going to be paid for 1 of them, then I have a problem with that, because that puts me in a financial strain. So how does that work?
You will be paid for all 6 of the kids. Every child that's in foster care, you will be paid for that child. Again, we only will put the children in the home if the home is large enough and have the space for the children.
So if you have a big house, a big space, and you can provide the care and the things that you need to do, you'll get paid individually per child in reference to their needs. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, good. Now, what about transportation? I mean, if you got like 6 kids, is it a requirement that you have some form of transportation to help
You
them?
must have transport. We would prefer that you have transportation. Now, you got to remember, a lot of times people don't have big vans and
Right.
stuff, so we think about all those things
Exactly.
also. But we at the DCFS, we do have people that will help transport children.
Oh, okay.
Like if you have a working parent, foster parent, and you need us help to get the child to daycare, pick the child up, we're going to do that to help you out.
Right. And what you're saying pretty much is this is all for a short amount of time.
That is correct.
Right. So
All of that is short time.
You don't drop them off and then next year you say, okay, well, we'll come back next year and check on you.
No, we visit a monthly minimum with all of our children. We try to get in the home weekly, but you are going to receive a monthly personal visit from one of our workers.
Okay. And then they'll be asking, what do you need if there's a problem? If there's any problem, then they'll probably try and address it from that standpoint.
That is correct, and everybody has my phone number to call me. Every foster parent has my number, so if there's something wrong, they know to contact me immediately.
Oh, so there's always an open line of communication.
That is correct,
with the foster.
always.
Okay.
They can call me anytime.
Anytime. Okay. And also Miss Yolanda Holmes, who is
Resource worker.
Resource
Right.
worker in there. And for those people who are really interested in helping our youth to go through this transition, can you again give them your information so that they can contact DCFS?
If you're interested in becoming a foster parent, if you just want to become a volunteer helping us in other areas, you may contact us. Miss Yolanda Holmes' number, who is the resource worker, is 870-534-4200, extension 105. Her cell number is 870-692-4033. You can also contact me, Mr. Lewis, at 870-267-5272.
Well, thank you again, Mr. Lewis. This has been a wealth of information, and I just wanted to let you know you've just been placed on alert.
Thank you. Glad to be put on alert.
You guys have a nice day.